Question. What are some common uses of AWS? Select all that apply. Choose the 4 correct answers. A. Networking, B. Analytics, C. Storage, D. Virtualization. Answer. A. Networking, B. Analytics, C. Storage, D. Virtualization. Explanation. All of the answers are common uses of AWS. AWS has thousands of different uses. In this course, we discussed some of the major categories, including storage, compute power, databases, networking, analytics, developer tools, virtualization, security. Question. You have just set up a brand new AWS account. You want to keep monthly billing under $100, but you are worried about going over that limit. What can you set up in order to be notified when the monthly bill approaches $100? Choose the correct answer. A cloud trail billing alarm that triggers an SNS notification to your email address. B. A SNS billing alarm that triggers a CloudWatch notification to your email address. C. A CloudWatch billing alarm that triggers an SNS notification to your email address. D. A CloudWatch billing alarm that triggers a CloudTrail notification to your email address. Answer. C. A CloudWatch billing alarm that triggers an SNS notification to your email address. Explanation. In CloudWatch, you can set up a billing alarm that will trigger when your monthly bill hit the set threshold. That alarm can then be set up to trigger an SNS topic that will send you a notification that the alarm threshold has been met. Question. The concept of elasticity is most closely associated with which of the following? Choose the correct answer. A. Auto-scaling, B. Network security, C. Serverless computing, D. Elastic load balancing. Answer. A. Auto-scaling. Explanation. Elasticity is the concept that a system can easily and cost-effectively both increase in capacity based on demand and also shrink in capacity based on demand. Auto-scaling on AWS is specifically designed to automatically increase and decrease server capacity based on demand. Question. What endpoints are possible to send messages to with simple notification service? Select all that apply. Choose the 3 correct answers. A. SMS, B. FTP, C. SQS, D. Lambda. Answer. A. SMS, C. SQS, D. Lambda. Question. What AWS storage class should be used for long-term archival storage? Choose the correct answer. A. Glacier, B. Long-term, C. Standard, D. Infrequent access. Answer. A. Glacier. Explanation. Glacier should be used for and is specifically designed for long-term archival storage. Question. Before moving and or storing object in AWS Glacier, what considerations should you make regarding the data you want to store? Choose the correct answer. A. Make sure the data is properly formatted for storage. Glacier. B. Make sure the total amount of data you want to store in under 1 terabyte in size. C. Make sure you are okay with it taking at minimum a few minutes to retrieve the data once stored in Glacier. D. None of the above. Answer. C. Make sure you are okay with it taking at minimum a few minutes to retrieve the data once stored in Glacier. Explanation. Objects stored in Glacier take time to retrieve. You can pay for expedited retrieval, which will take several minutes, or wait several hours for normal retrieval. Question. John is working with a large data set, and he needs to import it into a relational database service. What AWS service will meet his needs? Choose the correct answer. A. RDS, B. Redshift, C. NoSQL, D. DynamoDB. Answer. A. RDS. Explanation. RDS is AWS Relational Database Service. Question. What is AWS Serverless Compute Service? Choose the correct answer. AS3, B. Lambda, C. EC2, D. None of the above. Answer. B. Lambda. Explanation. AWS has 2 main compute services, EC2, server-based, and Lambda, serverless. Question. What is the most common type of storage used for EC2 instances? Choose the correct answer. A. Elastic File System, EFS, B. EC2 hard drives, C. Elastic Block Store, EBS, D. Magnetic Drive, MD. Answer. C. Elastic Block Store, EBS. Explanation. EC2 instances have several different hard drive options. However, Elastic Block Store, EBS, which is a type of network-attached storage, is the most popular and widely used. Question. What AWS service has built-in DDoS mitigation? Choose the correct answer. A. CloudFront. B. CloudTrail. C. CloudWatch. D. EC2. Answer. A. CloudFront. Explanation. With CloudFront, you cache content at edge locations, which shield your underlying application infrastructure from DDoS attacks. Question. You have been tasked by your department head to upload a batch of files to an S3 bucket. However, when you select S3 on the AWS console, you see a notification stating that you do not have permission to access S3. What is the most probable cause of this error? Choose the correct answer. A. It takes 24 hours to get access to S3. B. The S3 service is currently down for maintenance. C. You do not have an S3 access policy attached to your IAM user. D. Your boss has not enabled proper bucket permission. Answer. C. You do not have an S3 access policy attached to your IAM user. Explanation. If you get an error stating that you do not have proper permissions to access use and AWS service, then most likely your IAM user does not have the proper permission policy attached. Question. What are the benefits of AWS Relational Database Service, RDS? Select all that apply. Choose the 3 correct answers. A. Resizable capacity. B. Automated patches and backups. C. Cost efficient. D. None of the above. Answer. A. Resizable capacity. B. Automated patches and backups. C. Cost efficient. Question. Thomas is managing the access rights and credentials for all the employees that have access to his company's AWS account. This morning, his was notified that some of these accounts may have been compromised, and he now needs to change the password policy and regenerate a new password for all users. What AWS service does Thomas need to use in order to accomplish this? Choose the correct answer. A. Policy and access management. B. Elastic Cloud Compute. C. Access management. D. None of the above. Answer. D. None of the above. Explanation. Identity and access management. IAM is the AWS service where password policies and user credentials are managed. Policy and access management as a service does not exist. Question. You notice that 5 of your 10 S3 buckets are no longer available in your account, and you assume that they have been deleted. You are unsure who may have deleted them, and no one is taking responsibility. What should you do to investigate and find out who deleted the S3 buckets? Choose the correct answer. A. Look at the S3 logs. B. Look at the CloudTrail logs. C. Look at the CloudWatch logs. D. Look at the SNS log. Answer. B. Look at the CloudTrail logs. Explanation. CloudTrail is logging service that logs actions taken by AWS users in your AWS account, such as creating / deleting S3 buckets, starting / stopping EC2 stances, etc. Question. What acts as an address, like a mailing address, for a web server located on a network? Choose the correct answer. A. DNS server. B. IP address. C. Common language domain name. D. None of the above. Answer. B. IP address. Explanation. An IP address is a server's address on a network. It is how traffic / requests get routed to it, much like a piece of mail gets routed to your home. Question. What services has built-in DDoS mitigation and / or protection? Choose the correct answer. A. EC2. B. RDS. C. SNS. D. None of the above. Answer. D. None of the above. Explanation. AWS services with built-in DDoS mitigation / protection include 1. Route 53. 2. CloudFront. 3. WAF, Web Application Firewall. 4. Elastic Load Balancing. 5. VPC and security groups. Question. What should you do if you believe your AWS account has been compromised? Select all that apply. Choose the 4 correct answers. A. Delete any resources in your account that you did not create. B. Respond to any notifications you received from AWS through the AWS Support Center. C. Change all IAM users' passwords. D. Delete or rotate all programmatic, API, access key. Answer. A. Delete any resources in your account that you did not create. B. Respond to any notifications you received from AWS through the AWS Support Center. C. Change all IAM users' passwords. D. Delete or rotate all programmatic, API, access key explanation. All these answers are actions you should take if you believe your account has been compromised. Question. Derek is running a web application and is noticing that he is paying for way more server capacity than is required. What AWS feature should Derek set up and configure to ensure that his application is automatically adding/removing server capacity to keep in line with the required demand? Choose the correct answer. A. Auto-scaling. B. Elastic server scaling. C. Elastic load balancing. D. Auto-sizing. Answer. A. Auto-scaling explanation. Auto-scaling is the feature that automated the process of adding/removing server capacity from a system based on usage demand. Auto-scaling creates a very cost-effective system by never having too much or too little server capacity. Question. What is the purpose of AWS Route 53 service? Select all that apply. Choose the two correct answers. A. Content caching. B. Database management. C. Domain registration. D. Domain name system, DNS. Service answer. C. Domain registration. D. Domain name system, DNS. Service explanation. Route 53 is AWS domain and DNS management service. You can use it to register new domain names, as well as manage DNS record sets. Question. If you are using an on-demand EC2 instance, how are you being charged for it? Choose the correct answer. A. You are charged per second, based on an hourly rate, and there are no termination fees. B. You are charged by the hour and must pay a partial upfront fee. C. You must commit to a 1 or 3 year term and pay upfront. D. You are charged per second, based on an hourly rate, and there is a termination fee. Answer. A. You are charged per second, based on an hourly rate, and there are no termination fees. Explanation. On-demand EC2 instances are exactly that, on-demand. There are no upfront or termination fees, and you are charged for each second of usage, based on an hourly rate. Question. What AWS feature acts as a traffic distribution regulator, making sure each EC2 instance in a system get the same amount of traffic? Choose the correct answer. A. Availability zone. B. ELB. C. NACL. D. Auto-scaling. Answer. B. ELB. Explanation. An elastic load balancer is responsible for evenly distributing incoming web traffic between all the EC2 instances associated with it. This helps prevent one server from becoming overloaded with traffic, while another server remains underutilized. Question. What best describes the concept of fault tolerance? Choose the correct answer. A. The ability for a system to withstand a certain amount of failure and still remain functional. B. The ability for a system to grow and shrink based on demand. C. The ability for a system to grow in size, capacity, and/or scope. D. The ability for a system be accessible when you attempt to access I. Answer. A. The ability for a system to withstand a certain amount of failure and still remain functional. Explanation. Fault tolerance describes the concept of a system, in our case a web application, to have failure in some of its components and still remain accessible, highly available. Fault-tolerant web applications will have at least 2 web servers in case one fails. Question. What is the purpose of a DNS server? Choose the correct answer. A. To serve web application content. B. To convert common language domain names to IP addresses. C. To convert IP addresses to common language domain names. D. To act as an internet search engine. Answer. B. To convert common language domain names to IP addresses. Explanation. Domain name system servers act as a third party that provides the service of converting common language domain names to IP addresses, which are required for a web browser to properly make a request for web content. Question. What best describes the concept of scalability? Choose the correct answer. A. The ability for a system to withstand a certain amount of failure and still remain functional. B. The ability for a system to grow in size, capacity, and/or scope. C. The ability for a system to grow and shrink based on demand. D. The ability for a system be accessible when you attempt to access. Answer. B. The ability for a system to grow in size, capacity, and/or scope. Explanation. Scalability refers to the concept of a system being able to easily and cost-effectively scale up. For web applications, this means the ability to easily add server capacity when demand requires. Question. What is the relationship between AWS global infrastructure and the concept of high availability? Choose the correct answer. A. AWS is centrally located in one location and is subject to widespread outages if something happens at that one location. B. AWS regions and availability zones allow for redundant architecture to be placed in isolated parts of the world. C. Each AWS region handles a different AWS services, and you must use all regions to fully use AWS. D. None of the above answer. B. AWS regions and availability zones allow for redundant architecture to be placed in isolated parts of the world. Explanation: as an AWS user, you can create your application's infrastructure and duplicate it. By placing duplicate infrastructure in multiple regions, high availability is created, because if one region fails, you have a backup in another region to use.